Now, here's one for you. I was thinking while we were watching Tycoon that Sir Cedric Hardwicke, an Englishman, played the father of an American, and Lorraine Day was chaperoned by Australian Judith Anderson, while the Mexican-Irish Anthony Quinn played a Chilean cousin. Now, how's that for a League of Nations? By the way, you may have noticed that Anthony Quinn had 6 billing in the credits of this movie. 2 years earlier, he had been billed second to John Wayne in Back to Bataan. Quinn felt that his career was sliding backwards, so he retreated to Broadway, where he followed Marlon Brando as Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire. He eventually became a major name, but it would be 4 years before he made his next film, which was, by the way, The Brave Bulls. Now, Grant Withers, who played Fogg Harris in this movie, the construction boss, was once married to Loretta Young. Paul Fix, who was Joe, later played the sheriff on the old Rifleman series on TV. Do you remember that? I like to watch some of the characters in these films that wind up on television. We'll be back.
Next on American Movie Classics, George Segal stars as an American agent in Berlin caught in a game of espionage. Max von Sydow and Alec Guinness co-star in The Quiller Memorandum. Next on AMC. In January, AMC rings in the new year with a legendary lineup of classic movies, beginning with a salute to Hollywood's all-time king of comedy, Charlie Chaplin. In The Gold Rush, the little tramp braves the Yukon in search of gold.
Get out. Get out.
It's Chaplin versus technology in the immortal comedian's final silent movie, Modern Times. And Chaplin's talking this time and gives a brilliant dual-role performance in The Great Dictator.
Hey, das Strafnichtshilfenfekt! Der Wiener Schnitzel mit der Lage werden und das Sauerkraut!
Also in January, AMC launches Creepy Classics, a weekly series of classic horror. The series kicks off with one of the greatest fright films of all time, Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi in his most legendary performance.
Children of the night. What music they make.
AMC offers a double dose of high tension in January. First with Richard Widmark's chilling portrayal of a psychopathic killer in Kiss of Death. And Robert Evans reprises the murderous role in the 1958 remake of Kiss of Death, The Fiend Who Walked the West, co-starring Hugh O'Brien.
Maybe I better give you a little hot lead first, so you won't be so active.
Action lovers will have a field day in January as AMC presents the thrill-a-minute movies of director William Wild Bill Wellman. Gregory Peck and Richard Widmark are robbers on the run in the desert drama Yellow Sky.
It just happens that votes don't mean a thing to me. You want to get rid of me, you've got to run me out.
An Air Force Flight School provides the backdrop for action and romance in Wellman's Thunderbirds, starring Gene Tierney and Preston Foster.
You can talk to yourself for a while. I'm going for a little stroll.
And Henry Fonda stars in Wellman's superb study of the terrors of mob rule, the Oxbow Incident.
These fellows will go a long way to get the guy that killed Larry Kincaid.
Ring in the new year with round-the-clock classics all through January, only on AMC.
This is Al Jasbo Collins. Let's swing back with American Movie Classics. It's 1951, and America went to the movies to see Bogart sail the African Queen and Brando revolt in Viva Zapata. He is the unforgettable Nat King Cole with That's My Girl.
That's my girl.
I got a reputation for being a dangerous man.
He made men burn with anger.
Flame follows that man around like a dog. He's a ball burner.
And women burn with passion.
I gave up on you the first time I ever looked into those cold blue eyes.
You got the color right.
Paul Newman, Joanne Woodward, Lee Remick, Orson Welles in the American Movie Classic, The Long Hot Summer. Friday.
Like everyone else in Hong Kong, you're at loose ends. I think you probably need a love affair.
It was a story about patience, about love, a story about honor.
I knew you were married.
And you still went out with me?
I thought if you were happily married, there could be no danger.
William Holden and Jennifer Jones struggled to survive their forbidden romance in Love is a Many-Splendored Thing. Monday on American Movie Classics.
I think it's just delicate to have an imagination. I just have no imagination at all.
His was a hot summer night's dream, and she was just the girl to make it a sizzling reality.
He wouldn't be lying on the floor in the middle of the night in some man's apartment drinking champagne if he wasn't married.
That's a very interesting line of reasoning.
It's Marilyn Monroe's steamiest performance in The 7-Year Itch. Tuesday on American Movie Classics.
Look now, Father O'Shea's a priest. I know you're not a Catholic, but you know what that means to me. I can't think of him as a man. I mustn't.
Mystery surrounds a Catholic priest in China.
I don't belong here, Ann. Neither do you. I belong back in the States. Married. Raising a family.
Humphrey Bogart, Gene Tierney, and Lee J. Cobb star in The Left Hand of God. Wednesday on American Movie Classics. Coming soon on AMC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the celebrated author of The High and the Mighty and Soldier of Fortune, Mr. Ernest K. Gann.
Winston Churchill said that writing a book was a great adventure, and he certainly knew what he was talking about. It's just as much of an adventure to see your story brought to life on the screen. I found that out last year with The High and the Mighty, and now it's Soldier of Fortune. I'm frankly very enthusiastic and excited about the way 20th Century Fox spared no effort or expense to bring the story of Soldier of Fortune to the screen. To gain complete realism, they sent CinemaScope cameras and their crews and stars across the world and actually filmed in modern Hong Kong, where the story of Soldier of Fortune is laid. You'll see a great deal of that unique metropolis which rests so uneasily just on the brink of the bamboo curtain. The stars are Clark Gable and Susan Hayward. I don't know what more an author could ask for, and I'm sure you'll feel the same way.
Filmed on the spot with Clark Gable as Hank Lee, Susan Hayward as Jane Hoyt, Michael Rennie, Gene Barry, Tom Tully.
Take me away from here.
There are a lot of places I'd like to take you.
I was dreaming about you. You kissed me.
That almost wasn't a dream.
I suggest you visualize her. Say, a month from now, in that man's arms, see him caress her.
You starting a war in Portuguese Macau?
I'm just making sure somebody doesn't declare war on me. It's an old Yankee custom.
You fancy yourself a soldier of fortune, and you partially get away with it because you're in a foreign country. But to me, mister, you're just a gangster.
The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, Clark Gable may review a full life, rounded out as an airman in the service of his country during World War II. And see his home in Hollywood, where these happy moments with his wife Kay were recorded, become the object of an avalanche of messages of condolence, confirming a popularity seldom achieved by mortal man. The motion picture industry to which Clark devoted his talents shares the sorrow of Mrs. Gable, an expectant mother, in her bereavement.
You're watching American Movie Classics.
Don't you think that life should be gay and bright and bubbly like champagne?
A friendship, a marriage, a secret.
Well, this is probably my last chance.
Mine, too.
It's now or never.
Cary Grant and Deborah Carr are star-crossed lovers who embark on an affair to remember. Saturday on American Movie Classics.
We're trying to hold on to some kind of ideals.
Her diary became her legacy.
We begin thinking of all the horror in the world we're lost.
A young girl's triumph of spirit which endures even today.
I still believe, in spite of everything, that people are really good at heart.
Millie Perkins and Shelley Winters in the moving true story of the Diary of Anne Frank. Sunday on American Movie Classics.
I want to know everything in the world.
A little girl transported by dreams.
Mama, they're cutting the tree.
Learning a lesson in hope.
Why, they could cut that old tree right down to the ground, and a root would push up someplace else in the cement. You wait till spring, Prima Donna, and you'll see.
Dorothy McGuire, Joan Blondell, and Peggy Ann Garner star in Elia Kazan's Academy Award-winning classic, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Monday on American Movie Classics.
Go with 2 cones, please. And I like a diamond change, too.
Are you saving him, Mickey?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give mine to President Roosevelt.
President? Why, Mickey?
Yes, you see, Judy, I've got my envelope made out right here. It's all ready to go. See for yourself.
Oh, I know. That's a March of Dimes, the Infantile Paralysis Fund.
That's right. And, Judy, when I spend a dime on myself for some little luxury like this, I always think about those unfortunate kids and how far just a dime will go toward helping.
Gee, Mickey, we don't know how lucky we are and how much we have to be thankful for with our health and our happiness.
Judy, and that's why we should do all that we can to help all of those who can't help themselves.
I know. Can I put a dime in your envelope?
Oh, you know that you can. And that's what every good American should do. Join the March of Dimes. Send yours to President Franklin Roosevelt in the White House.
Washington, D.C.
This is Al Jasbo Collins. Let's swing back with American movie classics. The year is 1939. Greta Garbo starred in Ninotchka, and The Wizard of Oz put this hit at the top of the charts. Now here's Sarah Vaughan singing Over the Rainbow.
I've never tasted anything so good in all my life. How do you make them? Them pancakes is my granny's secret.
2 single working mothers.
I can tell you in 2 words how to make $1 million.
Together they found the formula for success. But success doesn't always mean happiness.
I lost my baby. She won't ever come back.
Claudette Colbert stars in the gripping drama Imitation of Life. Wednesday on American Movie Classics.
You're getting all dressed up to go out and buy tickets. Why?
Sure. I'm meeting somebody. Just anybody handy, as long as he's a man.
There's romance, mystery.
See at the place as soon as it opens.
It's a date. And murder at a honeymoon haven by the falls.
He's alive. He was standing right here looking at me.
Marilyn Monroe, Joseph Cotton, and Jean Peters star in Niagara. Wednesday on American Movie Classics.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
This is the original.
I bid you welcome.
Bela Lugosi in his legendary role. The classic horror movie that chilled the world. Dracula, premiering Saturday, January 26th at 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern on American Movie Classics.
Last year, we saw a lessening of tensions between East and West Germany, but in the mid-'60s, the Cold War was still very much at its height, and that's why it was a serious matter one day when an East German helicopter spotted an unusual vehicle that was moving toward the Berlin Wall. They couldn't quite make out what this was. It was being transported, but it really looked like some kind of a weapon. Well, the alarm was sent out, and the vehicle was stopped before it reached the border. The driver was detained and the equipment impounded for 20 hours before the authorities were satisfied that this strange-looking apparatus was exactly what the driver said it was, a camera crane that had been rented by the production company filming scenes for the Quiller Memorandum on the east side of the German wall, the Berlin Wall. A camera crane looks like a long metal arm with a mount and a seat attached to one end for the camera and the cameraman. And as we now know, when viewed from the air, it bears a very strong resemblance to a rocket launcher. This movie boasts a spectacular cast with George Segal in the lead as Quiller, the British intelligence agent who has no known first name. The next 3 men in the credits are international stars in their own right. We have Alec Guinness, Max von Sydow, and George Sanders. All right. A British intelligence agent has been murdered in Berlin, a city that was much more dangerous than it is today. His replacement has to solve the murder and uncover a nefarious plot, or he may well be the next victim. Here's George Segal in the Quiller Memorandum.